Hi, Tyler at Interfidelity here. Today we're going to talk about Sony's recent release of an entire line of headphones, the MDR-1R, which is a straightforward sealed full-size headphone with headset capability, the MDR-1RBT Bluetooth headset, and the MDR-1RNC noise canceling headphone. You can tell by the numbering system here, the Sony MDR-1R, that Sony was really trying to produce a outstanding headphone, and they've really invested a lot of time and energy and effort into them, and it's fairly obvious right from the outset that this is the result of a lot of work by a company that has spent a lot of time building headphones in the past, and they are just gorgeous headphones. This is an all-plastic construction. This may be metal on the 1R, but I don't think it is. They are a matte black or possibly a very, very dark brown, but the chrome finish on the plastic is a smoked chrome, and they all have red accents in various places, different on each headphone, but they are a very, very good looking headphone. This is a nice feature. The jack for the headphone comes out of the gimbal arm here on the back, so it's very nicely designed. There's no squeaks as you turn the earpieces or anything. People had complained that there was some squeaking initially. I think Sony actually fixed this recently, so they're very quiet. Some people have complained that this jack is a little bit loose and makes a little bit noise. I did find that they are a little bit loose on this jack, and it might make a little bit of noise, but it was never bothersome at all to me. In fact, just regular cable noise was more of a problem. The headphones, as I said, are all synthetic materials. This is a protein leather on the headband, and the ear pads, a very nice one indeed, very, very plush and pliable. The ear cups are a nice large size, so it will fit pretty much anybody's ear, except to say that if you have ears that stick out significantly, there's a couple of pointy edges in the inside the cup here that may touch against your ear and create a hot spot, but only for people with fairly sticking out ears is that a problem. So the construction is quite similar on all three headphones, although the Bluetooth headphone does not have the cable attachment on the gimbal earpiece, although it can be operated passively from a cable using the input on the bottom here that's covered up by a little rubber piece. At any rate, they're a very comfortable headphone, as I say, other than people with very large ears. There's a couple of minor problems with them. The first is on the R1 headphone. It's difficult to see, but there's a little vent on top of the earpiece here, and if it's a windy day outside and you're outside and wind goes across these vent holes, it can be fairly noisy. So on windy days that you may get a little extra noise from this vent hole on top. The pads, as I said, if your ears stick out, there are evidently some replaceable pads, I think mostly for the electronic versions, the Bluetooth and noise cancelling headphone. On very cold days, up here in Montana we have very cold days, this cable is nice and pliable under normal conditions, but when it gets cold it gets very, very stiff. So if you live in a cold environment and you plan to be outside with them, you probably need to replace the cable at a minimum. But it gets very stiff. It's kind of unusual. The sound quality of these headphones is quite good for the 1R. I would not say it's as good as the Sennheiser Momentum, but it's close. It's a little uneven. The bass is a little, mid-bass is a little bit accentuated, and the extension is not all that great on the low end, so it doesn't go down really low. It starts to roll off. So when they're turned up to kind of full volume listening levels, the bass can be a bit woolly and loose sounding. The mid-range is a little forward in the 1-2 kilohertz region, so it's got a lot of presence to the sound. So it doesn't sound murky due to the bass when you're at quieter listening levels. At quieter listening levels, these sound quite good. The treble is a little bit recessed, but not much, and it's nice and clear and articulate. One of the surprising things about these headphones is that even though they're a little bit uneven, they do image quite well. The leading edge transient is pretty clean on the measurements that I took, so they end up actually sounding quite a bit better than they measure. As they say, I wouldn't quite put them up there with the Sennheiser Momentum, but I would definitely say they're good for this type, quite good for this type of headphone. And I am going to put the MDR-1R on the Wall of Fame as a great walking around headphone, especially since the Momentum, though it does sound better, is not nearly as comfortable for as many people. The Momentum fits a little bit oddly if your head is big, and if your ears are any larger than normal size, they really don't fit inside the cups of the Momentum, and on the Sonys they really do. So this is a great walking around headphone, very good looking, very comfortable, and good sounding. So most people will really enjoy this headphone. The Bluetooth version of the headphone, I had a great time with it. I used it quite a bit. All the features were nicely accessible in terms of the ergonomics of the buttons and switches and knobs and so on and so forth. So it did a really nice job of connecting to the various sources that I played it on. The sound is not nearly as good as the 1R. There's a big sort of section in the lower mid-range that's missing, around 300 hertz. So it's quite colored sounding, but for a Bluetooth headset, I'd put it up there amongst the best of them. I tried them against the Parrot Zik and the Logitech UE9000, and I would say it was easily on par with those headphones, but at $299 is $100 less expensive at a minimum. So for the price, I thought it was a very good Bluetooth headset. The noise canceling headphone, I found the Bose Quiet Comfort 15 to do a significantly better job at canceling out noise. This one can also operate passively without running on batteries, but has a very warm sound signature. I'd go so far as to say it was muffled sounding, so I didn't think it sounded very good in the passive mode. And then when the active electronics were turned on, the highs got quite etched and fairly harsh, so I will not recommend the noise cancelling version of this headphone. All in all, both the 1R and the 1RBT will be going on the Hall of Fame because they really are very, very good at their price points, and I like them a whole lot. And I hope you get a chance to hear the 1R sometime soon. As much as anything, not so much for the sound, although that's good, but the look and the comfort of these headphones are spectacular, and if you're going to use them day to day, that can be an important factor in deciding to go for them. Anyway, I like them a lot, and I hope you get a chance to listen to them soon. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.